would suggest that we kind of get together, have a workshop. I've already started talking to B&G about the hard questions. So, are we ready? I got
Well,
6 o'clock.
got 3 of us, so we got a quorum.
We have a quorum. It's time to get started. So I'll give the clerk a chance to make a full circle. It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to bring the meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Griffell,
Here.
Supot,
Here.
Caps.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Sorry. Where's?
We have a
absence
quorum.
and-
Like to stand, face the flag, pledge of allegiance, please. Robert, would you lead, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you remain standing, I'd say a quick prayer for the city on behalf of our citizens. Lord, take this opportunity to bless our community, bless our citizens. We live in a diverse community, so we all need to be one. We need to continue to work for the same goal, and that is success to all. Lord, thank you for answering our prayers and being in our life. In God's name, amen. Okay. Okay, for those that just got in, Jamie won't be here this evening. His son is in the hospital having breathing problems. Okay, I'll start with the approval of minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the April 28th meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the April 28th, 2025 meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. You guys notice how low that this number's coming up gonna be? Clerk's report. Mindy.
There's total income of 31,000, vouchers were 17. I forgot to put those out. The reserve fund is up to $101,802. Although I spent it already.
Motion.
Any questions?
Any questions, council? I would entertain a motion to accept the vouchers.
Motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $17,287.39.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There shouldn't be any conversation with that one, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, here we go. All right, guys, thank you. Here real quick, want to move, mayor's report is pretty quick here. I want to explain to the city council real quick. We have a couple finance opportunities for the city hall. They're coming eligible, okay? One is from the Chamber of Commerce. To explain to you what the Chamber of Commerce has to offer, they choose our building. They have building plans. They're gonna either accept our application or they won't. They'll come down, measure the area, and they'll provide us a building. What it will look like, what it'll look like on the inside. For the most part, we tell them square footage and what we need. You could call that an advantage or a disadvantage. Basically, you may not get what you want, and it may be something that may not fit. Example being, one of those prospects are, Pearson, Kansas built one of them centers and put a community center with it. A lot of glass, a lot of formality. There's a lot that comes with that project. Advantage, it's for cities under the population of 2,500. The other advantage is they would loan up to 1.5 million, which has been, that will, I'm sure that they're looking at the amount it takes to put in their building. This is a 50% loan, 50% grant, and it's 100% general obligation. That's the first opportunity that I would have to offer the council. Another one would be one Lisa's helped us with, and that is the USDA-RD. Okay, they're coming out in June, they're coming out with granting, you know what, for infrastructure, buildings, and et cetera. Don't know that there's a disadvantage of working with the USDA. One of the advantage would be the city would then get to build the building you want. You know what, windows, siding, what the inside's gonna look like, dictating the square footage, you know, just everything would be more in your hands than in the decision maker's hands. It'd be much like the water project or a sewer project. You go in USDA funds and they're gonna come back with an offer. I cannot predict what that offer is gonna be. It may not be a 50-50. There's no time, there's no scheduled table for what they're gonna loan and who they're gonna loan it to. What I do know is we go in the big pool with this one. If we do USDA-RD, it's just like our water and our sewer project. We're in the pool with all the big boys and all the bigger cities. And you know what, it is a chance of luck at that point in time. It is on our behalf, the city would have no reason to be afraid of the USDA-RD. You know, we do a lot of stuff with them right now. So those are two of the things that I'd like you to consider in the next month that you're off, because if we're going to look at either of these two opportunities, we're going to need to do it in June. Okay, so that's when the grant is going to open, and we can get our applications in and our questions and our wants in. So again, I think this is a problem that will need to be solved somewhere down the line. So does anybody have any questions regarding this before we actually move it into an actual discussion type of meeting? Is there something that I'm missing that you would like an answer to for any of this?
Do we have to raise taxes to pay for either one of them options?
General obligation bonds for both of them.
That means?
That means it comes right, that means every taxpayer will pay a percent of that. And I don't know what that,
Right.
until we get to the date again, I could have told you a month ago what those values were, but another month from now, those values might be lower. Chances are they won't be, but they might be lower. So values are gonna change for us, but the principle behind it is that the risk of doing the Chamber of Commerce would be, they would come down and say, oh yeah, we're gonna do a $1.5 million building for you, and they tell you what building they're gonna set right here. Okay, so with that, I would say at 1.5 million, you're probably talking about a community center that's gonna come with it. Their whole idea of this is to quick speed infrastructure. Some cities don't have the ability or the finance power to say, pay for the engineering and the consulting fees and things of that nature. All this gets paid for in this Chamber of Commerce grant. So it's kind of a no-brainer, hands-off kind of thing. But are we going to be happy with the end product when you're done with it, because you're going to pay for it for the next 30 years? So, and in most pictures that I've seen, they were glass front buildings.
They just dictate what we get, right?
Yes, yes. So,
If it's a general obligation bond or whatever, we still pay that out of our fund. So that 2,000 that we're spending on this would go toward that. So wouldn't necessarily mean an increase in taxes, depending on how much we spend.
If we can keep,
according to arithmetic and what we pay, and for what we would want to build based on, let's take the 1.5 million for the Department of Commerce. If you base that on arithmetic, I can tell you that we're still going to be looking for, as well as this will pay in, but we're still going to be looking for 30 to 50% in general obligation bonds. Okay, USDA, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same percentile in general obligation bonds. But how hard is it going to hit us? Well, we just said that the Department of Commerce, they could come in here with a 1.5. What a perfect opportunity for a little city under 1,500. We're going to drop a $1.5 million building in here. Well, even at those averages, you know what, we've still got to pay for it. It'd be easier if that average was smaller. I mean, for a small city. So, not trying to convince you or sway you either way. If any of you want to know my personal opinion on this, I'll share that with you, and we can take it a little bit further. But I think that as I'm trying to explain it to you, I think you can all sense what my personal thought on this would be. And you know, I think if you had one of two, I don't know that it was going to cost 1.5 million. This was conversation from the very beginning. We didn't think it should cost us 1 million or $1.5 million to build a city hall right now. Okay, so being able to bring that down, you know, will be a good conversation when it's time to have it. Okay. All right. With my mayor's report, I want to ask, have you guys started your agenda for your May 19th meeting?
Have not.
Have not? I'd like the council to take a look at this. This is just a quick, this was an agenda that I just jotted down. It was some stuff that's been on our radar, so POA, and I would like for this council that does this meeting to go with a professional application here, and that's with an agenda, and you know, and we can kind of get the necessities that we need taken care of. So as we go through all of this, does the council disagree with anything that's on here? Does the council want to add anything to this? I'd recommend we keep the list small for the group, because I'm sure the POA is going to come with an agenda also.
Well, I'd like to address their question from the last meeting.
Okay, that would be fine, but I think it's a good time to,
What's
We
that?
can list those questions we're gonna ask them, you know, the review stuff, we discussed last time, we discussed here.
and if you don't, this is a good start for your next meeting. Okay, just suggestion, you know, if you don't get, if you don't get to it. But you can give the POA board kind of an idea that, you know what, we have some serious conversations that we would like to have. Okay, so,
This is number 4 on here, the July 31st, are we gonna be up and running by then?
we're not gonna be up and running by then, but I think it's gonna be, well, let's go through it real quick so public's not confused here. Number 1's an RV storage. We've asked that it be cleaned up. We would just like to know the status. Contractor storage up there where the construction trucks and stuff were kept. Just the status of that. The third one is decommissioning of the water treatment plant, and is now too soon. I mean, I don't think that, not for me to say either which way, but Rural Water One sold water at $12 a thousand. I have no idea what they're making, cost to make down there, but I would suspect it's more than $12 per thousand. The other part of it too is that it's the time frame. We're getting to the time frame to where in August, when we do make these changes, we do start delivering water, knock on wood, August, September, you know what, these things are set in place. Our attorney and their attorney has had a chance to talk about it, have the conversation, and discuss, what type of agreements that we're gonna need. An example being, in the past, the POA, right now, they're bulk water haulers. They fill up their tank, they go around, and then they deliver it. And they turn in a volume number to us. Well, they keep record of where they take that water. The grant doesn't allow us to sell outside of the community, or does it allow us to sell bulk water, okay, under those resources. So the POAs, how they do their water business is going to change, because they'll now be reporting to us that Mike got 1,000 gallons today, John Weir's got 2,000, Connie got 2,000, Lou got 2,000. As you go around the room, it just wasn't 20,000 gallons bulk. So the USDA requires us to be responsible for where this water goes and how it gets sold. I think it's simple, but the POA's got to help us decide what they want to do. Cindy Smith's attitude was, and if not a bad attitude, this could change how the POA sees himself in the water business. I don't know that to be true or false, but it's a good question. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, good luck with your meeting. Yeah, I look forward to the positive coming back. Okay, let's move to
Number 4.
yeah, I was looking to see if I had anything else. Okay, number 4, sewer report. Any conversation? Any questions? Okay.
One thing,
Yes, sir.
the battery in the generator, that's the big one. Okay. Does it set someplace where it could have electrical? 110,
What's that?
the generator,
The generator, Corey,
is it still back there?
plugged into the,
Well, I mean, reason why I'm saying, because if you don't use a battery, you're gonna lose it.
So the battery is on a tender, so it's plugged in 24/7.
and we have a
Oh, it
maintenance.
is on the tender? Okay, that's
We
where I was
have,
going.
we have a maintenance agreement. The company comes in, how often?
Twice a year.
Twice a year, does maintenance on it, upkeep on it.
I knew that, but.
Corey and them started about every month.
They did come out and replace the battery on it last month, I think, because the battery was outdated. Yeah, so it's
I was just.
it's plugged in on a tender now.
I'm with Richard, you lost me attended.
The battery tender,
Yeah.
Trickle charge.
I lost you there.
No, I'm saying, since you said that, that appeased my,
Oh,
my words.
yeah, sure.
I mean, I hate buying batteries. I just hate it with a passion. So I put battery tenders on everything. So that was my suggestion. If it has one, we're good to go.
They put a good program together for that.
We've actually got some metal sheeting we're gonna put a lean-to roof over the top of that, just kind of protect it a little bit from the wind.
Okay, codes department, nuisance. Any questions for Steve? Okay, let's move to building report. Any questions for Steve? Okay. Public safety, police department. I'd entertain before we move into this, I entertain a 5-minute executive session starting regarding a non-elected employee, starting at 6:20 returning at 6:25.
Motion to move to a personnel executive session for 5 minutes from 6:20 and returning at 6:25.
I'll second it.
Favor?
Aye.
Very good. 25. Let's move, no action taken. Let's move to public safety. Corey.
Yeah, my report there, I don't have anything to add other than, the notation on the bottom for the body cameras. I
Okay.
did, speak with that company again today, and we bought those almost 3 years ago now. Warranties are expired on them, so I'm just gonna order new ones so we have a warranty on them.
We have a cost on that.
$2,096.
$2,096. We need, you cover it in your budget. You need assistance from,
We got it.
okay, very good. Take it out of Jeremy's budget. Okay, any questions for Corey?
Jeremy's here.
Yes, sir.
See you, Jeremy.
How are you?
He's been here the whole time.
Okay, let's move to the fire department. If everybody would look in here, there's a picture of the new fire truck that Mindy just sent a deposit out on today. Okay, so we have they went out, they not only found a truck within budget, but they bought a new one. So with that being said, we were able to use the $100,000 that we've collected for the 1 cent sales tax to make the deposit. So
And hopefully.
that's how fast that tax has grown and paid for,
Yes.
so.
And this is new, we got it in just enough time that we get this, it's in the middle of being built, so we have to change a couple small things on it, some shelving arrangements and some different things. And then it should be delivered first of September.
Does come with tires, right?
It does come with.
Okay,
tires.
all right. Any questions regarding the truck, council?
It's brand new. It is brand new. It's in the middle of being built right now.
In the bottom picture.
Yeah,
It's a reflection from
It's shimmering.
the trees in the back.
yeah. It's, you know, we went with what they call a custom cab instead of I'm sorry, we went with a commercial cab instead of a custom cab, just because I did a bunch of research, and from what we do out here, that saved us about $250,000 going with that type of fire truck. And I talked with Linn County Fire, and they said that's what they would go with too, so that's what we decided to choose that one.
Awesome job.
Huh? Awesome job. Yes, thank you.
And it holds a little more water too, doesn't it?
It does. It holds actually 250 more gallons than any of our other trucks, or other tanker. And this one actually has a 30-gallon foam cell on, so we'll actually be able to do foam out of this truck too, which helps out a lot.
And many won't even know how to drive. I know you can drive anything.
I'm excited for
That's
you
what I'm
guys.
saying.
Congratulations. Good job on all the hard work to
It's
find
taken
it.
a while to find this thing.
Okay. Fire department report. What you got, Jeremy?
We had 10 incidents in Linn Valley with 1 grass fire and 9 EMS. And then we had 1 incident in Miami County with EMS.
Hey Jeremy, what is the total cost of that fire truck?
That fire truck, the total cost, extension done out the doors, like $497 and some change. I have to give you an exact. But it's just under the $500. And then we gotta get hoses and some small things here and there that we gotta put on it.
Actually, that included a change order that went for, to put equipment on it.
Yes.
So, that was like I'm guesstimating, but I'm guessing it was like an $80,000 change order that went with the equipment, or was it?
So around there.
Okay, so, so the truck was cheaper, but the time it come with a water hose, it was a little bit more, but, we're still within the price range of our collections. Right now, based on what the cost, this fire truck will pay for itself probably in 5 years. And then this council can sit down and readdress, or whoever the council is, can readdress the tax order.
Well, the tax is supposed to end as soon as it's paid off,
Well, No, it's
Well,
a
we
10-year
had set-
tax.
We had to set it up for 10 years, but we
Right.
put the option in of
Right.
stopping it everything.
Right. So, and, you
So
know,
if the money comes in like it's supposed to, we should be able to pay it off.
and I would like to go to executive session with this council before you made such decisions based on what that value means to my pocket as an individual and what the value means to their pocket as a department, you know, so. Any questions for Jeremy? He costs a lot of money. Since he's been coming and sitting down, the price tag has went up on the end of the
We are
table.
slowly getting a decent fire department.
Okay. All right, let's go to number 7, projects. Let's start with the water project. Okay, with our water project, guys, we have some exciting news here. We're still waiting on the report of findings from the paint testing. You know, Richard and myself, and Jamie was at this inspection. They brought in climbers with gauges and stuff, and they took over 100 readings up top. And we're still waiting for them to get back with us on that one. They hope to have some resolved on the painting issues within the next month. Some touch-up painting will be necessary. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like after we get the report. Okay, water system. Contractors will be mobilizing by the end of May to the 1st of June for staking and construction respectively. We're going to start seeing submittals for materials, and equipment are going to be processed, and they want, B&G wants to indicate that everything is on track now. So it's just a matter of once they deploy, we'll start seeing work take place from Lacine to here. Water lagoon. We received word from the KDHE, that was on the 7th, that they have approvals back from the KDHE. He's going to forward them to, they should be sending them to us within the next 2 weeks to begin bidding and construction for the sewer lagoon project, or for the expansion of the sewer lagoons. That's where we're at with that. I want to plug in the, down here on 8B, permitting during the moratorium. Jamie's not here tonight. It's not for me to speak on his behalf, but he did not explain to me that he felt any different than he did in the last explanation that he had with the council, as far as issuing permits during this time frame, letting people build as long as they sign an affidavit. Jamie explained to everybody the situation with that, based on, you know, how he felt that it would affect the city legally. So we don't have a different answer from him. However, with that, what we have is, you know what, with an update. I want to give you real quick conversations we have. Different people have different ideas. Putting in a retention lagoon, putting in a collection system, doing several different things that cost money, and hundreds of thousands of dollars possibly, but would cost a little more money than I think what B&G is offering us. B&G has offered to help us with the sewer lagoons and trying to get us relieved from the moratorium, and this is what they're promoting to do. I am proposing that we, B&G, work at our hourly discounted rates for a fee not to exceed $5,000 to meet with the city, the KDHE, you know, along with Jason Solomon, and see if there are some middle ground or interim clarifications on permit requirements. There are a lot of engineering factors that go into those discharge requirements from the lagoon outfall, including influent, effluent, quality, etc. The new project on the very near horizon, KDHE, may be willing to temporarily modify the influent flow requirements so long as the quality is acceptable. They can see if the USDA will consider this has to do with our sewer monies, okay? They're gonna see if the USDA will allow us to pay for this RD through our grant, or through our loans, or sewer loans and sewer grants. Whether we can or not, it's $5,000. That's something we do have, that is more affordable than $85,000 retention lagoons, or what, $10, $15, $20,000 short term. And then you gotta remember, everything we do has to get approved through the KDHE so that we can do it. So I think that this being, again, it will likely range between 1,500 and 5,000 depending on the number of efficiencies of meetings and the availability of information. So would that change our decision on a moratorium based on we really can see a light at the end of the tunnel? We can't make a decision tonight, Jamie's not here, but between now and next month, I would like you to give me permission to enter into an agreement with B&G not to exceed $5,000 for this time and material work. And maybe by next month, we can start talking about taking down the moratorium and put a date on it. 2 months out, 45 days out. I mean, I don't know. But you know what? We can start putting some timelines with some of these scenarios, and it might assist us in making the hard decision. And if the KDHE steps in and says, hey, you know what? You can exceed that and with no, and we have no issues, then guys, we can take it off of the table and we can march forward with lifting the moratorium and getting back to building. So thought we were going to be here tonight to make the hard decision on do we or don't we allow permits to be issued for this. Even though we can't do it tonight, I think this is a lot of added information for this council to consider, maybe, especially if the KDHE tells us we can bend this rule a little bit. You know, where would that application be? And I think that with B&G doing it, again, it's a company that can put engineering numbers and volumes and water movement and stuff. They can put that in calculated factors for the KDHE. Okay, so I'm hoping, I would hope for the best. So, however we may choose or choose not to do this, I would
I'd like to make a motion to allow the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with B&G for the purpose of research and discovery on the possible mitigations for the existing lagoon infrastructure.
Okay, not to exceed?
I said not to exceed 5,000.
Okay, very good. In conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's go back real quick to the water project. I don't see it. We need to, in your book, you should have front and the back page from Jason Hodgkinson. On the back page, we talk about we need approve a change order for $456,000 for the additional 114 meters to be installed. Okay,
I have a question on that, because I'm confused
Sure.
by the approximate cost of each meter, service line to the house side of the meter.
this is what
That
this
statement.
this is what the contractor is gonna charge us as an added fee, as a addendum to the work. They're adding 114 meters times 4,000.
No, right, okay, just the service line to
That-
the
this-
house side of the meter was the confusing part.
Right, right,
Yeah, but it's not from the meter to the house.
right.
Right, that's why I was saying, is, to me, I would think that would be to the street side of the meter, not to the house side of the meter, but, you know, see what I'm saying?
No, because it comes to the meter and then not
Okay.
to the house side, not to the house.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. That's what I was.
We knew this would take place based on the fact that this is what sold the council and the USDA, was to add the meters and try to bring our costs down. So we knew this was coming, and you've already approved this, but because it's this amount of money, I want the council to recognize and approve this, because the second side to this is it's coming out of our contingency fund. There was a reason they built that much money into the contingency fund, which is where the USDA expects us to take this added project from. And we knew this was coming, but
That still leaves 430,000.
that still leaves, there's an exact of 430,000 available for contingencies, which is quite a bit of funds, so.
I would make a motion to approve a change order in the amount of $456,000 for 114 additional water meters to be added to the water project.
I'll second that.
Conversation.
Are we gonna decide where these extra meters are going?
Where they're going? I have an answer to that. That answer is, we have to mitigate that, and B&G will help us start that based on who should have been next in line. They're gonna start with where they stopped. Okay, and they're gonna look at maybe, and they're gonna just extend. The other thing they'll probably look at, or I've asked them to consider, is do we have an area in here that we could plug into more meters sooner? You see, so example being, as we evaluate our area, can we put 30 of those meters in on a single line coming off just 2 streets? I mean, so as we look at this, there may be an advantage to the project to be able to put more meters in a certain area based on construction and easement, or not easement, but easier for the construction project. So, but B&G will come back to us with where those meters are gonna go, what those meters are gonna cost specifically. Example being, I haven't got a cost on that yet. They may be $1,800, they may be $1,600. I don't know, they haven't given me a price on
Three
that.
meters in there, or are you talking about what they cost us?
That's what costs everybody, because even though they're free meters and people are gonna be getting on the system that aren't gonna be part of the project, you should still want to explain to them that, well, you know what, the cost to put that in, what we want you to know is we didn't make a penny on the meter. We're not allowed to. So if we pay $1,800 for a meter, we have to sell it for $1,800.
No, they're free, they don't.
No, not for these.
No,
That
no,
would
we're
be
not selling
additional.
those. But those still came at a cost to us.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought the 114 was the extra free meters.
They are the
It
extra
is
free
definitely.
meters, and we are not
But he's talking
established
about
where they're gonna go.
Beyond that.
Yeah, anything beyond that would be,
I got it.
And-
Some of the free meters, charging for the free meters.
yeah.
No, that's
And-
not what we're doing.
Yeah, and along the lines of where they go, I would also probably suggest that we look at who had to purchase a meter between then and now as people who get one of the replacement meters.
Well, B&G will come back with a
Right.
recommendation.
Right.
So we can tweak it from there with
Yeah.
whatever any ideas that any of us have.
And I would hope E&G would have that already in their
Yeah, let's see what they come up with.
Yeah.
But we can still,
adjust from there.
yeah.
Okay, Any more questions, any comments regarding that?
You guys didn't vote on that?
Oh, I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Old business, transient guest tax. I'm gonna let Mindy start with it, why it's on here, and then I'm gonna let Robert wrap up. Robert and I both heard a great deal about this for about a year now, all over the state. So, Mindy, go ahead.
Took a webinar last week, and they suggested it was a budget webinar. Anybody that had not implemented a transient tax to do so, because next year the World Cup is coming to Kansas City, and they're telling people, anybody within 2 hours of Kansas City, especially if on your main thorough highway, to get that implemented, because if you have Airbnbs, they will be rented.
If we had time to build a motel, oh boy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You just tore it down, didn't you?
What a hard group, what
I
a
think that would
hard.
have passed inspection.
That was motel for mice, maybe.
Well, Robert, and because we talked about this, he's also, as far as McPherson and Salina will be cities plugging into this.
And I also I spoke with actually the mayors for both of those when I was at that conference last year. I also spoke to the mayor from Hutchinson, Kansas, and she actually supplied me with their ordinance and the filers they had to do. There's only a couple of filers you have to do with the county and state, and basically Airbnb charges the tax, they send it to the state, and the county sends it to us, or state does. But the county needs to know about it, I don't know why, but it's part of the process. And it's basically an ordinance we put in place, and we've determined the percentage we want to charge of the total amount they're renting the place for per day, or whatever.
We have planning and zoning meeting tomorrow night, a hearing regarding container homes and regarding permitting Airbnbs. I would suggest that we wait for the hearing results and for the Planning and Zoning Commission to deliver to us their recommendations before we, because right now, although we want to put a transient tax in, who is that going to impact? In our community, who would that impact, Robert?
Currently, it would be the POA directly for sure, because they rent out those camping slots to coast campers. And the cabins that they rent out would also fall under that.
What was the first?
The campground, some of those camping slots they rent out to the coast group, which would be definitely something that either we would.
Also affect the cabins?
Yes, it could potentially affect the cabins if they're rented to non-residents.
Non-resident.
Yeah.
But then again, we could also, depending on what the planning and zoning comes back with, based on permitting Airbnbs, we could plug short-term rentals into that also.
So
I mean,
we have to,
I'll tell you this, our superintendent's got a buddy who's Airbnb in his 6-bedroom house out for the World Cup, $24,000 a day. A day.
I'm sorry, Richard.
wouldn't we have to, or how big of a hurry are we need to be?
Well, we got till next year. World Cup's not till next year. We got time to let planning and zoning come back with things, and this would be put on here because we send employees to schools, the webinars, the seminars, and they gather this information, and as they bring this information back, it's good news. You know what, it may be applicable to our city. So, you know what, it's just time to put this on our radar so that, because a big part of this conversation, we're gonna find out more about next month, probably from the planning and zoning hearing. And who knows, they may come in here and say, we don't recommend, permitting, Airbnbs, you know, so I guess we'll see what they send over to us. And then from there, we take the recommendations and you guys will form an opinion, weigh in on a decision and decide, you know, if there's a next step to this.
Taking John's example, you said 24,000?
24,000 a day.
That'd be $720 a day at 3%. Not that we'd be getting that kind of money down here for a place. I mean, there's a couple, I guess, I could see.
Oh, we talk,
Potentially.
it depends.
Does the
Well-
POA rent campgrounds to non-owners
Yes.
Yeah.
and cabins?
The cabins, no. The cabins, you have to be a property owner to rent them. But they do rent out campground slots to non-property owners.
Because
So it wouldn't
Yeah,
affect the
coast to
cabins.
coast. Huh?
So it wouldn't affect the cabins then?
It shouldn't, yeah, it shouldn't affect the cabins unless they transfer to renting those out to non-residents as well.
You're screwed about that already.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't be collected, it wouldn't be the POA paying, it would be the renter.
No, I mean, them rented out to non-owners.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, well.
Okay. Schedule a budget workshop. Mindy?
I'd like to have a workshop, the budget. I'm getting pretty close. Might have to shut my door for another day and lock it.
Need a guard?
Uh,
Need a guard?
yeah. I'm pretty close, but I need a workshop so that y'all can look at it, go over it, understand it.
Set a date for us. Get us in an area.
set a date.
Let's see, that's what
Excuse me.
we do like Wednesday the 28th. It's a Wednesday.
The 28th?
Evening.
28th?
Saturday?
I'm in
June
May.
28th?
No,
May.
29th is Saturday.
Huh?
I think 29th is Saturday.
28th is
Or-
Wednesday.
or-
28th
Yeah,
is a
28th
Wednesday.
is Wednesday.
Okay, I have this, what's in front of you?
Let's start talking availability. 28th.
Wednesday, the 28th.
I'm good.
I say we do it Wednesday, the 28th.
Y'all good the 28th?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm watching.
I'm tired, but I'm all good.
Okay,
Chris, you okay
Yep.
with that?
May 28th, is be the budget workshop.
it's 6.
1800?
How long will that take you?
Till midnight.
She only gets an hour according to my phone.
I have like no more than an hour, hour and a half for us to go over it and
Okay, well, I was just asking if we wanted to discuss town hall workshop at that time, but it's a no, so, okay.
What time?
6. I mean, it may be quicker if nobody opposes anything like this.
That's probably not gonna happen.
Huh?
No.
Just look at it and say, okay.
Is that open to the public? The public
Are
meeting?
those open to the public?
If
Think
we
so.
have a quorum.
It's a workshop,
Yeah.
public's not gonna be, there won't be no citizens participation, but I guess if they just wanna,
They can show up and just watch, but they
if they,
can't. be
yeah,
involved.
it's just a workshop, it's not a participation thing.
Entertainment value only.
Okay,
One of those lasted over 5.5 hours.
Mine won't.
okay, new business, do we have any new business for anyone? Okay, I won't do this publicly, but if you'll wait around Dennis Kaufman till after the meeting, I have a message for, from the city attorney for you to deliver to your attorney. So, if you would please. So, anyway, anything else? Citizens participation. Mindy?
Do you have anything? No?
There you go.
So motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, we're adjourned.
He said.